Jonathan India leads off for Cincinnati here in the seventh. He is 0 for 2.
So this is Bluetti's new release. It's just coming out here at the end of June, and it's their AC50B. It's a portable power station that I would say is in the medium range when it comes to the smaller portable ones. Got your instructions and manual, packing material, of course. There's the unit here. In the box comes with your solar charging cable, AC charging cable, a DC charging cable for your car, and a small screw, which is a grounding screw that probably gets mounted right here on the side. Really quick, we'll just go over some of the details of this power station. So it is an AC50B. It's 700 watts, a peak of 1000. Has 448 watt hours of storage. So technically, if you're thinking of what is this going to use, if you think of something that runs 100 watts, you can run that device for about 4 hours before it's going to need to be recharged again. Over here are your different mode buttons. So you have your DC, your AC, and in the center is the power on switch. You have a nice display. They've adopted these displays in their latest batch of power stations coming out that give you a lot more information, a little bit more colorful. On the right here, you have two 3-prong 120 volt 700 watt outlets. In the center, you have a USB-A port, which is 15 watts. You have a USB-C port, which is 65 watts. And you have a second USB-C port here all the way on the left. There is a 12 volt DC connection, like your car cigarette outlet, and that's 12 volts at 10 amps. And here is your charging for solar. If you're going to be charging with solar, it goes from 12 volts to 28 volts at 8.5 amps. A maximum of 200 watts of solar can be put into this. So if you have a nice sunny day and you have a 200 watt panel, you can recharge this in about 2.5 hours. On the side, you have your charging connection for AC. This can be charged within an hour. There are 3 modes of charging this. So there's a silent mode where it won't charge as fast, but the fan won't click on. So if you're charging this at night, or you have it inside your camper or your tent, and you want it to be a little bit more quiet, you can charge it at a slower rate, but you could also charge it at a much quicker rate. It can be charged to 80% in about 50 minutes and 100% from 0 in about 70 minutes. Just in our voltage here on our meter, and we have 120 volts, and it's giving a pure sine wave. Let's give the toaster a try. Toasters are around 700 watts. I'm not sure what this one is. And fan is clicked on the power station. 700 watts, just like I said. Looks like there'll be no problem making toast. Okay. All right, so I don't think this is going to work. The heavy lifting on this power station lets you run appliances up to 1,000 watts. This coffee maker, however, probably needs 1,400 to 1,500 watts to operate properly. So I'm just going to see if it works. That would be great, but I don't anticipate it working. But just to let you know, if that's one of the reasons you want to get a power station, is to be able to make coffee while you're camping. Let's see what happens. Here comes the heater. Wattage is going up. Nope. Overload. Too bad. Would have been nice. Okay, I'm going to do a little experiment here. I have electric coolers. They're pretty popular nowadays. It's 48 quarts. It has 2 chambers in it, and I set both chambers, both sides, for 36 degrees. And normally if I'm going to take this out, the first thing I do is while I'm at home and I still have power, I will bring it down to temperature. So I'll either let the AC power do it, or if I'm driving in my vehicle, I will plug it into the cigarette lighter and let that power this unit until I get to where I'm going, and then let the batteries take over. So we're going to do that simulation. Right now I have this temperature is going down, but what I'll do is I'm going to hook this up to the AC power on the power station, And then I'm going to hook it into the cooler and just use this power station and see how long it's going to last. I'm starting it now. It is 6:08 in the evening, and I believe it's going to go overnight and into the morning. So I thought I would start it now to get a good night's sleep, and then I can check it tomorrow and see how long it's going to go. There's a lot of variables involved. Right now it's 80 degrees outside, and it just depends how often you're going to go inside this thing and open the lid and how warm it is. Obviously, you don't want to put it out in the sun. You want to keep it in the shade. This will kind of give you an idea of what something this size and with this power rating can do for one of these. And certainly if you have a solar panel and you have a sunny day, well, then you could keep this topped off all day long and then just use it at night and then charge it back up again in the daytime. At 76 watts, it was telling me that it would operate for about 5.6 hours. But of course, this is not going to continuously run. It's going to be just like a refrigerator. It's going to turn on and off, maybe cycle every half hour. And again, it just depends how often you're going to open that door and what the temperature is outside. But this should give you a ballpark idea. All right, it's 9:49 in the morning. Our temperatures are still good. And there's 54% left on the power station. So it's been over 12 hours. All right, it's been 24 hours and there's still 28% of the battery left, which means that this could go on powering this cooler for probably another 6-7 hours before it's spent. Or you could do the 24 hours and then probably charge your phone or a Switch or a little Game Boy or something like that. Again, if you had solar panels, you could probably keep this going indefinitely because you could charge this up in a couple hours on a nice sunny day. And if it's cloudy, you could still get a little bit of wattage out of it. Thought I'd throw that out there of what this is good for. It's a good size, not too large, not too compact. Let's move on. All right, and one of the things I think this is perfect for, at least the perfect size for, is a camping trip. If you're tent camping or like we have our hybrid camper here. It's a pretty warm night, a little sticky and a little hot. And let's just see how many watts this is going to use. I'm going to put it on high right off the bat. And it shows 26 watts and it'll run for 12.1 hours. So it'll get you through the night, and then if you want to charge it up during the daytime. Now, on a contrast to that, let's say you are camping and it's a little chilly out, and this mattress here is heated, so we're going to simulate a heated blanket. It's basically the same principle. From a scale of 1 to 6, I'm going to go with 3. If I look on here now, it's saying 22 watts, and that should last 13 and a half hours. So that too can get you through the night. Now, the perfect way to charge this would be if you had some solar panels, 200 watts, and you could get this recharged in about 2.5 hours. But if you can't afford the solar panels or you can't afford the space to bring them, it's pretty easy to just take this to a campground facility. Let's say they have a shower facility, bathroom, and a lot of times they have outlets in there. So you only need to take this in there for about an hour, top this thing off for the next day, charge it really quick, and then bring it back to your campsite. Or if you're thinking about powering that cooler like I did in our pole barn earlier, you can take this away for an hour. Your cooler is going to stay pretty cold still, charge it back up, and then give you another day's worth of a charge on this device. So it's perfect size. This comes in at right around 14.7 pounds. And it's rechargeable up to 3,000 cycles. You'll go down to 80% capacity after you've used this 3,000 times, which is very close to charging it and discharging it over a period of 10 years almost every day. So it does use lithium ion phosphate batteries. Less hazards involved with these batteries. They're safer and they last much longer than the original lithium batteries that a lot of these power stations came with. Also, if you had a small storm and you're just gonna have a power failure for a couple hours, this is great. You can run a television set and charge your phone and some lighting devices, so a lamp, keep you going for 2-3 hours at least. A 75-watt television should be able to run off of this for about 6 hours. We'll start on low. Using 410 watts. We'll go up to high. Up, just overloaded. So if you have a blow dryer and you're concerned about that, you could use it on low pretty easily. Low is no problem. You go up to high and you can go over that 1,000 watts, then you get an overload. Pretty easy to reset, and you're back in business again. Now we're going to do a rated capacity test. I don't really care for wasting electricity. A lot of folks will do these capacity tests by running a heater or just wasting electricity. But what I'm doing is I'm charging my vehicle with a larger battery. And then once that battery runs down a little bit, I'm going to use the Bluetti AC50B to put some power back into the battery. And I'm setting that battery to only accept about 400 watts. So I'm going to start putting some power back into it. I'm going to attach a watt meter so we can tell exactly what the capacity was, and we'll compare it with its rated capacity. 400 watts should deplete this battery in about an hour. Alright, as you can see, we're starting from 0, and we'll start tabulating how many watts comes out of this and goes into the other battery. There's about 456 watts going out of the Bluetti right now, and there's about 397 showing going into the other battery. With these power stations, you never really get the rated capacity. If we're using the inverter like we are now, there's going to be a little bit of power loss just using the inverter, but generally you want to see at least 85%. This is about the loudest I've heard the fan since I've gotten this, and it's putting out about 50 decibels, 51, 52. We're getting close to the end here, 1% left. On my gauge here, it's showing 418 watts are going out, where on the unit itself it was showing somewhere around 450. Little discrepancy, but that could just be the inverter converting DC to AC. Alright, and we're at the end. On my meter I showed 394 watt hours. If we divide that by the 448 of capacity, we get approximately 88% of capacity of this battery. A few other things to consider is also the battery is going to have to save a little bit of energy just so it doesn't do any damage to the battery. So there could be 1 or 2% left in there for safety reasons. One other thing that we use this for when we're on the road is we use Starlink. And a lot of times if we're boondocking, we might hook up a generator to run the air conditioner. And then we shut that generator off at night. I will plug Starlink into this because it acts like a UPS. It'll realize that the power is shut off, and then this takes over. Within 200ths of a second, this will switch over from the main power of that generator, and this will kick on. So the Starlink will stay on the whole time, and I don't have to worry about it rebooting. And sometimes when Starlink reboots, it takes a good 15-20 minutes to do that. So if you're in the middle of watching something on TV, or if you're streaming something from the internet, you don't have that interruption. So I like to use this as a mobile UPS when we're out on the road because we can plug this in, it will always keep working, and no matter what we're doing, if we're plugging into the shore power or we turn on a generator, turn off a generator, this will keep on going. There won't be any interruption in our electronic devices, and it's safer for those devices in the long run. I also like the Smart App Control on here. You don't need to register or figure out another password or anything like that because it will use Bluetooth. So you could either use Wi-Fi or Bluetooth for this. Usually when you open up the app, it's going to tell you that there is this power station nearby and do you want to connect to it. And it's pretty simple to see the features. You can control on and off, turn different parts of it off, see what the charging rate is. You could tell it to charge at a silent rate. You could tell it to charge at a medium rate where the fan might click on a little bit. Or you could have it charge really fast where it's back up to 80% in 45 minutes from 0 or 100% around 70 minutes. If you think this power station is a good size for you and it gives you a decent enough wattage for what you're looking for, but every now and then you might want a little bit more capacity, these are expandable and you can add expandable batteries to this. And like most lithium iron phosphate batteries out there, this does have battery protection in there. So it will protect from overheating, overload, as you saw with us trying to use the coffee maker, and then of course colder temperatures. If it's too cold outside for this to charge, it won't allow you to charge, so it's not going to ruin the battery inside. All right, so this feels well built. One thing I did notice that it doesn't have all the little plastic covers here, so you don't have to worry about peeling those back. The only thing that's covered up here are your charging ports and then your DC port over here. It has a 5-year warranty, but it's built well, it's sturdy. All in all, it's built pretty strong for a simple camping trip, or if you're going to be charging your devices, you're out on the road, you need to charge drone batteries. I like the handle on this because it does not take up any space. If you look at some of the EcoFlow power stations, their handle is extended out here past the power station, and if you want to make a perfect cube out of it, you can't with the EcoFlow, but this one you can, so that helps out when you're packing and storing this on a shelf or packing it up in your car for optimal space. All in all, it's just a nice little unit.
If you plan on having an outdoor movie night, this is perfect. The projector we're using is a mini projector. It uses about 100 watts per hour, and then the Apple TV only uses about 10 watts per hour. So you could run this for approximately 4 hours, get a nice long movie night, watch The Godfather, or maybe a double feature. I'll leave information on this power station in the description below. If there's any links or coupon codes, I will add those also. But that's going to do it for today. I appreciate everybody watching. Hope you enjoy and subscribe to these videos. Click on that little bell when you want to know a new one is coming out. And keep an eye on it. Take care, everybody.
We have everything you want. Didn't know you wanted. And some things you didn't know were possible. Because we believe if you're not having fun, you're not living free.